Thanks for staying with us. So the Public Service Institute, Kubwa, Abuja, is undergoing a verification process, which started on Monday for civil servants all over Nigeria. The idea is to detect ghost workers following the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, IPPIS, as one of its reform programs to improve the effectiveness and efficacy in the storage of personnel records. But the way they are going about it is quite shocking. People are seen to be falling over themselves, pushing pregnant women down with no regard for each other. What are your thoughts on this? So join the conversation and call us on 081-076-41679 and 0902-4163440 or tweet us at the hashtag TVCConnect on X and Twitter and X. So I saw the video. I think it went viral, so to speak, and it just took me back to how many years ago of how every time we have to gather for one registration or the other, there's usually this crowd of people. There's usually a lot of disorganization. Nothing is planned properly. You may even come and take a number and go back home and then come back. The crowd is usually pushing. People will get injured. People will get knocked over. And this is 2023. So I saw the video again this morning. I'm like, what's happening? Are we still back to this? Are we still here? Ladies, please help me. What's going on?
There are even more people now said than that time. Our population is growing.
Yep.
So you expect if it's the same way before, they were scrambling because make it be me first. Now that we have about over 220-something million people, according to the data released in the papers this morning, the struggle is real. The hustle will be real. It's just so sad that, this is the way we choose to do. I remember, let me use the example of NIMC, the NIN number. Yeah. So when they flagged it off in 2014 or 2015, much earlier, or the BVN, I just said, this thing will turn to rush. When it's not crowded, I'll go and do it. So I went to one other bank, they had not synchronized the banks, and another bank now compelled that we should come and do it, and I went during the rush. So I experienced rush. It's the two, they are completely different
experiences.
So you can imagine if the Public Service Commission is choosing to do this at a particular time. After these 2 weeks, if you have not done your own, if you release that kind of information that we will finish this verification within 2 weeks, you start Monday.
You put the panic.
Start, when will it reach my turn? And the madness that it will bring is the kind of thing we saw in the video where everybody is all man for himself. Everybody, I want to, we don't even have regards again. We took the Osun story on Monday where old people, our veterans, our elders were fainting.
Yes.
And government today, my father used to say, when you're in management, you think you will never join pensioners. There was one manager then in NNPC when he was at NNPC who Obasanjo later now made MD. He came back and my father used to laugh that, you were with us before they now employ you. Should better understand that more than ever what we have to go through. And so, these people must always know that this thing is coming around. We can knit it up. We can do it over a period of time. The IPPIS has been the news since Buhari's time. We can have it just working wherever your state. And number two, why do they all have to merge?
In one place.
Thank you.
Because before you finish the talk, give us the gist.
This thing is so, it's so annoying because this is 2023, and in so many ways, especially in the private sector, you can see them every year, every 6 months, constantly improving.
Upgrading.
And then the Federal Civil Service is just left behind, and this is the body that employs most Nigerians, and you are not doing anything to show that you're improving. How do you have a whole group of people like this in one place? This is a country that we're talking about, just talking about COVID, we're talking about diphtheria, we're talking about all sorts of things.
Yeah,
this is a health problem for the country, for our economy. See all the time that they are spending to be there when they should be at work. So this is supposed to be a one-week verification. Some people say they've been there 3 days, they are not even close to the door. How are you working in a place like this? And then you see that whole crowd of people and you're sitting behind the desk and you think it's okay. You don't think, okay, come per state, like you said earlier. Everybody from this state, come this week. The next state, come this week, and then you finish it up. But above all, why should people be traveling from different parts of Nigeria to converge in Abuja? You have people from Lagos, you have people from Plateau, you have people from, from Yobe.
They'll be looking for accommodation.
Yes. Now you pay for transportation fare fair. Then if you don't have a place in Abuja, you have to pay for accommodation in that place. And it may take you as long as, 3 days, 5 days, 1 week. That same money you remove from the small salary that you're getting. It's the same civil servants that here we're talking about increments in wages. And yet they use the wages for transportation and accommodation, something that can be easily done. And so it begs the question, is somebody earning something from this chaos? Because it makes no sense to do this over and over and over again. I hope that, government is seeing what is happening, and today they can quickly do something about it. Especially, they say pregnant women are falling down because they are pushing them. There's blood because somebody has hurt themselves.
And they push her, so Teduma just cried. She back her baby to that verification.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine that?
What are your initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts have been expressed by Mariam and Nima, because really at the end of the day, when you watch a video like this, it reflects what we've seen in Nigeria over many years in different areas. We mentioned that newspaper yesterday, I think it was newspaper yesterday, that we took the story of what happened in Osun. So Nigeria is actually very disorganized. Like, we're a bunch of very disorganized people. We don't respect process. We don't. It's everywhere. Go to the airport. The same Nigerians that will be misbehaving on the road, misbehaving in offices, would go and queue up for visa, and they will queue up. So it's a case of being disorganized. It's a case of understanding that we thrive as a community in chaos. It's a case of what I was saying before we came on this show, that in Nigeria, the things that are not normal are being applauded as, oh, you are so good, you know how to organize in this chaos, because that is where we've lived for so long. So the truth is, a lot of Nigerian systems are not strong. We don't have structures, we don't have systems, we don't value human life, we don't respect humanity. Because if you respect your human being, your fellow human Nigerian, and you believe that this is a human being that should be treated with respect, you will not pack all of them and watch them the way they are. Somebody should have had feeling and come outside and say, please, everybody, sit down. Let's get chairs for everybody. Let's get canopies for everybody. Everybody form a queue. Organization. Order. You cannot grow without order. And as a country, we have seen the result of lack of organization. They want to shape palliative to become a stampede. Everything. What causes fuel crisis and what causes queues is that people will be jumping, overtaking. You are seeing traffic. The disorganization in one area, of course, will reflect in other areas. So if we are discussing this issue, yes, as a country, we need to understand the impact of being organized, having order, and how things will flow better. Productivity would increase. People will feel more love and more loyal to a system that respects them. It would be a different thing if there were chairs there. How do you gather people and you don't put chairs for them to sit down?
It's even beyond the fact that people are disorganized. It's that there's no infrastructure that is capable of taking all those people at once there. And you know that you cannot afford to have the number of people that you have right there.
Why are you putting them together?
Bring them, bring the number of people that you can attend to.
The NYC scandal, the NYC crisis that is promising them jobs, and all of them gathered at Eagle Square in Abuja. That was another.
Under Jonathan.
All the time. We are always here.
So I have information that, it was scheduled. According to this person, he said 5 ministries per day were scheduled. Even that is outrageous. They said they scheduled that only 5 ministries should come per day. But even that, considering the number of people it is outrageous.
So what I
cannot understand is that if it is IPPIS, why do we have to come
to get that?
They are finally solve data problem with IPPIS, and then you say they should come.
Do you want me to answer that?
So hold on. No. Before you answer the question, so what I see is, I think we always feel if things are easy, it's not worth it. It's a mentality that I've noticed, especially in our part of the world, where we like to make things difficult and stressful for no good reason. They say everywhere we must have human capital for us to develop. And I see that Nigerians are intelligent. But when I expect people who are in the helms of affairs to handle all of these things, to apply their brain, I don't get it. Because this IPPIS, you can take a very long time to keep putting people in. That's one. Secondly, that we do not have the infrastructure, like she mentioned, to bring people together. Why does everybody need to come to Abuja In 37 states of Nigeria. No, hold on first now. Are you telling me that's the only place they have IPPIS? No. It cannot be replicated across states?
You want me to answer the question? Because we took stories a few months back or a few weeks back where the IPPIS, somebody in the office was imputing, somebody is collecting salary in Nigeria from the federal government without an employment letter from the federal government, because the Oga sitting down at the IPPIS computer imputed names into it, and they discovered those names, paid to impute names into it. So the reason they are doing verification for some people is because the fact that there's corruption in the system, so they can only trust one holy person. You can't solve the problem like that. See, I had a conversation with someone. I was at an event on Saturday, and the woman was saying when she got into this meeting, I can't mention her name, she got into a place, she was meant to clean up this in last administration, and that she had 27 people that were going to be working with her. And they said she should fire all of them because they were all involved. And she said, if I fire all the 27, I will simply employ from one set of thieves to new set of thieves. So I need to sell them the opportunity, the reason for loyalty, and change their ideology. She achieved it.
Yes,
from
you need to buy them in.
Getting 400 in a month. They used to do, what they were doing was bringing in 400 a month. Now they are doing 17,000. Imagine the money that was being lost when they were only reporting 400 officially, and how much was going into their pockets. The Nigerian system that we have, in trying to find the holy person, is what is causing this problem. Why is it that when you want to change your name, you have to go to Abuja?
Why Abuja for everything?
Is that only person? Because corruption can happen in other places. We can trust this.
I don't think it's about...
When you hear them, that's what they will say.
See, this is how I see it. It's IPPIS, it's data. You want to do biometrics and capture. These same only persons, take your time within this 1 year and travel within all
this. Thank you, Nima. God bless you.
Everybody on duty, you have the list of workers. If they cannot show up within that ministry,
that
is
it.
Not an employee of the ministry, you move on and you go. Then they will not bring their NLC protests about them sliding them. We will know how to handle them.
We don't have to all converge in one place to do this.
Who's the medical expert that is standing here to catch people's BP and all of that?
Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll take phone calls and messages. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing the verification process that has taken most civil servants under the IPPIS to Abuja for this, verification. And we're seeing a lot of crowd and talking about how this has been happening from time immemorial and what we can do to change it. And Tope had some thoughts.
Yeah, so while I feel like the leadership of the people in charge of IPPIS could have been more humane in how they organize this, I feel there's also the part of taking responsibility as citizens, we the people part, which is that when you find yourself in a place this chaotic, somebody should rise up as a leader to bring everybody together. You might not need to have a title to lead and organize these people, but you can say, oh, everybody, this can't work. Before we injure ourselves, everybody please just sit down. Let's organize in order of pregnant women, those that have children, sick people. Let's start grouping ourselves, and it would just involve somebody taking that leadership position, and it would have made this a lot more organized than what we captured on the video that we just watched right now. Sometimes you don't wait for the leaders. We take responsibility and become the leader without any title.
Okay, well done. Let's take this call. I'll come back to you on that. We have Hassan from Lekki. Good morning, Hassan.
Experience.
Everybody. Look, you see, we keep on doing the same thing, expecting the result. We are never serious in this country. Look, from local government to state and federal government, every day there is a case of ghost workers. And people were caught. Have you ever heard of anybody prosecuted for being a culprit? You know, a restaurant of ghost workers from the federal, state, and local government. Look, this is an enemy within. I said it all. In this country, different sickness are in there. Yellow fever, I'm sorry, there. Malaria fever, I'm sorry, there. Typhoid fever, I'm sorry, there. Everything there here. You see, forget all these things. The enemies are within the system, frustrating the system. And the government is not strong enough to deal with them. Look, recently something happened in Federal Character Commission where somebody is linking people with IPPA and even giving them employment letter. What happened to that person? In federal government before, a lot of people were caught. In state government, A lot of people were caught. Nobody ever been prosecuted. We are never serious in this country. We are not ready for anything positive. We are not ready for positive change in Nigeria. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Hassan. So I wanted to come back to what Tope said about we the people. I know that, at every point we have to learn to take responsibility, but let's call it spade a spade. If you are paid to do a job, it is your job to find the best ways to handle it. If you need ideas, get ideas. If you need consultants to advise you, get consultants. If you need to assess the situation and see how best can we do this thing so that it's seamless. The problem is we don't like anything that's seamless. We don't like anything that doesn't take sweat from people. And once we have that position where we're sitting behind the table, we become God and want to suffer people. And I have living examples to buttress this. There's nothing wrong in saying we can send auditors across the states. Like you mentioned, every quarter somebody is showing up unannounced. They will come, they will take register of the people working, they will over. The problem is we also don't know how to follow up. So this is more work for the people who are supposed to be in charge compared to having Nigerians suffer on the field because we are not ready to organize ourselves. So it's not. I will not go to. Hold on. I will not go to that kind of place right now and be organizing people. Which voice? My voice will go. Who am I going to shout at?
I'm a
Stand here,
pregnant
stand
woman
there.
traveling from Yobe State. I've traveled through this. I've passed Boko Haram. I've passed bandits. I've passed risk of potholes and everything. I've survived. Then you come. Then I'll now come and be
organizing for you.
See, I understand that there needs to be how we should behave, but you have also deliberately created a chaotic environment. What is wrong? Would you rather have thousands and hundreds of Nigerians traveling across Nigeria to one place, or have just a few auditors, like you said, traveling to different parts of the country and sorting this thing out? Why would you want to bring Nigerians? Why do you want to put them through this sort of stress? Health stress, physical stress, mental stress, financial stress. Just to come and stand here, and then you've given them 1 week. I've also heard that for some of them, because they haven't done the verification, they haven't gotten their September salaries. Imagine. And if they are unable to do it, even with this time, they will not get their October salaries.
We should make them
what are we
desperate.
saying?
Please, let's take this call. I'll come to you, Nima. We have Maureen from Makodi. Good morning, Maureen.
Good morning, BC. Hello, good morning.
You're live, ma.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning.
See, this problem, BC, it will not stop. This problem will not stop until we as a nation begin to have accurate and proper database. Where are we going to in this country with all this nonsense? Now, do you know how much it is from somebody to travel from Makodi to Lagos presently? They're talking about 20,000 and above.
It's not 20,000.
Now, think of others who are far away from Abuja. Now, when we start talking about ghost workers and the likes, how do the so-called IT firms, the telecoms, how do they solve all these problems? Why can't we involve expertise?
Yes.
To solve this issue, the problem is database. Let's forget about ghost workers and the like. We don't have a database. How can somebody who has been in civil service for 15 years is going to Abuja every year for verification? You know, not one year now. Where are we going to? This is pathetic, and I don't premature it. I don't even pray to be in that kind of place. It's pathetic, and it is failure to the entire.
Thank you so much, Maureen.
I remember doing this with my dad, traveling to Wasimi when NNPC had to do verifications, and they had to do for pensioners when he retired. I remember the drama. If somebody told me 1996 problem is still persistent today, I would have denied it. It was the norm. And even there were not so many. You know, you just want but then just to travel. He will now go drive to all his colleague pensioners' houses. You pick them one by one. When they get there, the ones who were not later do maybe the storekeepers when they retired, he will help them fill their form. They will now press on print or sign. You know, those things, we can do things better. It doesn't have to be like this. And our people, those directors in this ministries, the ones behind the IPPIS and the ones within the Federal Civil Service know that they can do this thing better. There's no rocket science about it. We've done BVN. We have our NIN numbers. If people are within the service today, you cannot clean it up without this kind of crowded verification. you have been sleeping. Do you know how many biometrics we have at the NIN? Did they not
Are you telling me?
biometrics for everybody to before we can open accounts now? Are you not?
So collect your money, you do biometrics.
Each bank is doing it per account now,
Yes.
and you are paying these people salaries per account, and you say you cannot
trace it from their account
without a crowded verification that people will be fainting and stressing at. I know it now.
Doesn't make
the
sense.
cost of Makurdi travel, when she mentioned it, Nana, my head do come.
Yes, so
because it's not
imagine
20,000.
farther than that.
It's the whole the risk of the road.
Let's take this call from Tijani. Good morning, Tijani from Ota. Oh, we lost him.
So I want to talk about, I agree with you. I find myself that when we're in a chaotic situation, we can't solve the problem by lamenting the problem. So that was why I was trying to direct us to say that if you find yourself there, you must, instead of if they want to treat you like an animal, they behave like a human being that you are. So what they've done there was they've packed all of us that you are all animals, and then we started climbing and behaving like one. We could easily have said we are not doing this. We can all protest and say we're not doing this. That's one. Number two is the leadership didn't put enough critical thinking into solving the problems they were facing. You're facing a problem, you should think critically of what are the easiest and cheapest way to afford to solve this problem for everybody. There's the use of technology. You can open an account in the UK without seeing a bank. You can do your verification with your phone and use your face. Every phone has camera, and and all these people can have a camera or laptop in their office, so you can verify your face with your iris. Technology could have solved a lot of this problem for us. Nima just mentioned something, and she said it occurred to me that every IPPIS staff can go to their banks and partner with the banks to capture for everybody.
Thank you.
It will reduce your costs and make it easy for everybody. It's about critical thinking when it comes to problem solving, not making life hard. But if there is no consequence for making people suffer like this, we'll continue.
Yeah. So let's
as long as these leaders don't get punished for what they just did. If you just say, oh, query, and they move on, then we'll see this happen in 2 years' time.
That's how it has been done.
We have Miriam on the line. Good morning, Miriam from Apapa. She's still there.
Good morning, beautiful ladies of your view.
Good morning.
This thing is so close to me. I went to Abuja a few days ago. So my mom told me that she was not paid salary. So they needed to do verification. So they were not paid for October. So I'm sure they're not going to pay them. They were not paid for
September.
I'm sure they're not going to pay them October. So I followed her. We walked around and all that. She said she has done this verification before. There's a stamp for me to show that she has done this verification. So she went to her director's office and, it was signed again and all that. So when she went there on Monday, when the verification exercise started, she called me and said, they told some of them to go, that since they have been verified before, they should go back. For those who have not been verified before, yes, they've not gotten their salary. So I just called her when you posted your view to say, thank God for your life. So this is what you would have gone through. This is so heartbreaking. This is so heartbreaking. Seriously. And that day that I was in her office in Abuja, a colleague of hers was saying, they just want to capture us on TV. They just want to use us to shine and look at. This is a national disgrace.
Honestly,
it seems like leaders in this sector don't answer to anybody. If somebody in government, there's somebody they're answerable to not seeing this. In a same country, by now, somebody is called to order. By now, they would have ended this immediately before casualties are recorded. Why do you want to always ask the masses to sacrifice when the leaders do not have pen? We're talking about iPhone 15 Pro Max. The world is fast moving. Everything can be done with your phone, with a simple gadget. And these people think they will keep taking us backward. Like this is 20 years backward. This is 50 years backward. This is a shame. Are these people not answerable to somebody? Can somebody not?
Thank you, Mary. I haven't finished it.
She just finished everything.
The truth is, we need, what is, as they say here, we say your KPI, at the end of the day, for the person in charge of this verification exercise, it needs to show, like, if they get reward for a seamlessly done registration exercise, or if they created chaos like that. If there are consequences for actions, there will be better outcomes. But the truth is, I honestly feel that this system is kept this way for nefarious reasons, for corrupt reasons, because it does not make any sense to do this year in, year out. people who have done verification for this year, I've heard that some of them do it nearly every year and they are called back to do it again. So what is happening to the data? Because, you know, a lot of the earlier callers have said, oh, we need data. But the data that you collect every year, what have you done with it? Does it expire? What is happening?
Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll take more calls and messages and find a solution to what we're going through. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.